Hey. Okay, we are going to get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Denise Jelinek. I am a wife, a mom of two boys that are 12 and 15. And when those boys were 4 and 7, I found myself wanting more to just stand in my kitchen with a jar of peanut butter and a spoon dumping chocolate chips in rather than be with them. And I had a great marriage. I had great kids, but I just wanted to be around food more. I found myself wanting to get my husband off to bed so that I could stay up and eat like I wanted to. I found myself thinking of food 80 to 90% of the day, that whole mental calculator of calories in, calories out. And oh my gosh. But when those boys were 4 and 7, I had absolutely had enough. And I tried all the things. I tried the diets. I tried a million things to make myself feel good about my body. Diets, hired trainers. I even had a counselor twice. And although I would have short-term success, I never had long-term success. And that's why we're here tonight, to make sure that you can have that long-term success so that you never have to do this again. And are you ready? This is the system. And if you're ready, put yes in the chat. Yes. This is the system that I do with my one-on-one coaching clients so that they can find the freedom to be able to follow a food plan, follow a healthy diet, and live in the bodies that they absolutely love. So we have 4 steps. The 4 steps that we have are: you're being called. We'll tell you how to look at the brain and see how the tricks that it plays on you. I'm going to show you how to make some powerful yet simple plans. And then finally, we'll wrap up with how you do daily practice. And what does that look like? Okay, so first off, let me start us off in prayer, and then we'll dive right in. So in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, be with us as we try to get closer to you by getting rid of the things in our lives that that are keeping us far from you and food. Remind us that you created us for love. You created us for love, and we want to return that love to you in the way that we take care of ourselves. Remind us that you're in us and that everything we need, you've already given us. Bring us peace. Open our ears, open our hearts to hear what we need to hear and be present for each other. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so let's get started. So we want to end emotional eating this week, of course. So you guys know that God is calling you. He's absolutely calling you. It's no accident that you're here, right? Accidents don't happen. He keeps tapping you on the shoulder. So you know that he wants that healthy weight for you. Yes, would you agree? Yes. So let's dive into how you know that you are being called. So we're going to talk about the soul versus the brain. And the brain's going to play a couple tricks on you, gang. The brain has 3 jobs. And the brain's job is to seek pleasure, avoid pain, right? Like you need to stay safe. And then it's also conserves energy, right? So your brain wants to do the easiest thing possible. Okay, but do you know what this triangle is right here? This triangle right here always wins. Always wins. So right now your brain is telling you a lot of things like, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe you can't do it again. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. I don't know. Like, do we really want to change the way that we're doing things? Because the truth is that when you change, it's going to take some energy. And it might be uncomfortable, right? It might be perceived by your brain to be uncomfortable or painful. And things that are painful, at least when we're in our primitive brain, when we were like evolving, things that were painful usually led to death, right? Like, don't walk on the lava because you'll die. And the way that you seek pleasure will be different. And we're going to teach you new things. I'm going to teach you new things today so that your brain, so that it becomes very uncomfortable. So this area usually wins. And so the cool thing about being Christian women is that we don't have to fall for those tricks. We can tap into our souls and our Heavenly Father and ask, like, what does He say about this? What does God's word say about this? Well, God's word says this: do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Did you hear that? Renewing of the mind, the renewing of your mind. That's part of the process that He's calling you to renew your mind. He also said, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. So knowing the tricks that our brain will play on us, we don't have to succumb to them because we know that God's there with us. But just for fun, why don't we start writing down what are the tricks that your brain is trying to get over on you? Just put it in the chat. I'll fail. She's nuts. This will be hard. Now, no matter what, if you have the handout, no matter what your brain is thinking, those things, your whole list, and just dump them out. If you're watching the recording, pause this, dump them out. I'm going to keep going because I need to make sure this stays short. Dump it out, because the thing is that there's only 3 categories and 3 buckets that all of those things are going to go into. It's either going to be self-doubt. Yep, you never follow through. That's right, Patty. You never follow through. Who's this chick? You have no confidence in me. Your brain is going to trick you into thinking that, or it's going to trick you into thinking this process won't work. So it's going to be one of those 3 categories. Okay. I'm going to show you how to get over that. That's the coolest part, is that we get to reprogram our brain, totally reprogram our brain. So I want you to look at, what does it really matter? And when you look at the goals that you have, and what does it really matter? And if you have the handout, you have this. What does it matter? Like, why do you want this? Why do you want to be at a healthy weight? Why do you want control over your food? Why? What makes that important to you? What makes that important to you? Anybody? Ooh, I love that. Let's go with that. Imposter syndrome. And I'm going to take that as permission to take it, so that I want to be free of the imposter syndrome, which essentially means, like, I want to feel like I'm doing what I say I'm going to do. And by the way, when I was in the height of my binge eating, I was a personal trainer. Talk about feeling like a massive hypocrite. In fact, I would help people create meal plans, and when they followed them, I thought they were lying. Isn't that hilarious? So imposter syndrome. So why is it important for you to feel authentic? Let's say that I want to feel authentic so that, finish that answer, so that maybe so that I want to be free of imposter syndrome, so that I feel authentic, so that, and we have to just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's what I'm going to ask all of you to continue to do with your goals, and continue to come back to this, because it's usually that root cause, so that I have confidence in myself, is what she said. Yes. And you're going to know that when you're done digging for these things, you're going to know you're done digging because you're going to feel it in your gut and be like, yeah, yeah. And in your handout, you have 2 sheets because I really want you to dig into that. You know, the next thing is I always ask my people to look at what are the areas that you find your binge eating and emotional eating has affected. But on the future side, I want you to look at instead your future you. I'm going to lay out a couple of these categories. So the future you, what will these areas look like in your future? Okay. And just imagine, and I'm going to say them, and then I'm going to be quiet for everybody here so that others will trust me. Oh, yeah. Imposter syndrome so that I feel authentic, so that I have confidence, so others will trust me. And, you know, at the end of all of this comes so I can show up in the world like I was created to. So our emotional eating, binge eating affects our lives. It affects many areas of our lives, but I want you to think about what these areas will look like when your eating is no longer a problem. What will your spirituality look like? What will your physical body look like? What will your relationship with your spouse look like? How about your job or your profession? How about other areas of your life? What will they look like? Put it in the chat. How will that look? Consistent relationships with God and family. Yes. That's exactly it. What else? How about in the areas of your emotional well-being? Your mental well-being? Parenting? Relationship with your kids? Your pursuit of your hobbies and things you enjoy? I'll be healthy and have abundance in all areas of my life. I find the same thing, gang. When my food and my eating is in check, I feel better about myself. I feel like I can show up in a very more authentic way. It's very tied to my spirituality as well. And I think you guys are seeing that as well. That, my friends, is how you know that you were called. The second thing is that we have to really tune in, and I love to say tune in and change the dial. So I want to teach you now how you can tune into your emotional well-being and see what's really happening. Because believe it or not, I know you guys are going to think this is crazy. Believe it or not, every situation and every circumstance that you encounter in a day is neutral. It's neither bad nor good, up nor down, positive nor negative. The only thing that makes something good, bad, positive, negative is the thought that you have about it. Every circumstance in your life is neutral. I'm going to say it again. And whether or not you get into a sabotage spiral or a success spiral is based on the thoughts that you have about that circumstance. So let's dive in. If you guys have the handout, can you give me just a wave or something that says I have the handout? I guess it doesn't really matter. So the spirals that I'm going to teach you now, the sabotage and the success spiral, are how you get to identify where things are going south or how to make them go more north. Okay, so some indications though that you're living in a sabotage spiral, if you don't even know, like let's look at your life. Do you find that you're reacting and not responding to life? Do you find that other people's behaviors, that you have behaviors and patterns that aren't serving you? Like things are happening that you're doing, but it's not working for you at all, but it still feels super impossible to change. Okay. The handout was in the email that I just sent, but don't worry about it. Just keep listening. I'll make sure you all get the handout when you get done. You're saying and believing negative things about yourself. You're overly sensitive and you get offended super easy. So what happens in that spiral is that you have a circumstance and then you have a thought about it. My husband comes home from work and he says, and I tell him about my day, going on, and he says, why don't you get over it? I think you should let it go. And I think, oh my gosh, he's dismissing me. He doesn't even care about me. I must be invisible. That thought creates feeling. That feeling is I'm unloved. I'm invisible, but pretty much I'm unloved. And when we have, they drive our happens, well, oh, it says that my AirPods are picked up. Can you guys still hear me? I hope so. I'll put my AirPods on just in case. Yeah, just in case you can't hear me. Anyway, drives our actions. So what do I start doing? Well, I isolate from him. I'm a little snarky to him. Maybe I'm biting back because he hurt me. So I'm going to hurt him because I feel unloved. What's the result that I get? The result is that I still have the problem. I still feel hurt. And guess what? I'm making myself unloved. I'm isolating myself. I'm feeling unloved and I'm making myself unloved. I'm not showing myself love or compassion. I'm not having a conversation with him. Now, on the other hand, if we take that same circumstance and we say, I want to feel, let me use a different color. Okay, thanks, Ingrid. I want to feel loved. Then I can say, well, what thought do I need to have? I can say, he has my best intention at heart. I can believe that. That can be a belief at heart. It's thoughts slash belief. So when he comes home, same circumstance, and says, I tell him all about my thing, and he says, well, why don't you get over it? You might be saying, well, why don't you get over it, honey? Like, seems like it's really tearing you up and using a lot of your energy. Why don't you get over it? Right? Because I'm thinking, well, he has my best intention at heart. So I feel loved. And then the actions is that I stay connected with him. Right? When I go through this whole, I feel bad and the negative stuff happens. Let's go back to my brain. My brain says, that feels like crap. I'm going to avoid the pain. I'm going to stay safe. I'm going to seek some pleasure. I feel like garbage. I'm going to seek pleasure in what I know will give me pleasure, just like that. That healthy meal I had planned, forget it. I'm ordering a pizza. I'm in a bad mood. I want to feel better. It takes too much energy to make that healthy dinner I was going to make. I'm going to throw a pizza in the oven. I'm going to take the bag of cookies and go upstairs because I need pleasure right now. This always wins. This always wins. So it's super important that we understand what our thoughts and beliefs are so that we can change them, because you can reprogram them. You can totally reprogram them. You guys stay on after the webinar and I will show you how to do that. That was just a really quick example, but I want to make sure that I keep going through so you have all of the tools. But if you have a specific thought or circumstance that you want coached on, please, please, please stay on after the webinar. Now you're going to know that you're living in that success spiral, and that success spiral is, I have a thought and it leads to a feeling like it's an intentional thought. My intentional thought is, he has my best interest at heart. An intentional thought that I'm practicing right now is, it's okay to be uncomfortable.
It's okay to be uncomfortable, because my brain wants to say, oh my gosh, you're uncomfortable. You should change that. Go eat something. Go do something else. Go scroll on social media. No, Denise, it's okay to be uncomfortable. So I don't feel helpless. I don't feel frantic. If I have that thought of like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable, it gives me a feeling of unrest, of like, right? I mean, is that even a feeling? It's this feeling of like, oh, something's got to change. I mean, I just get all like kind of spun out. And my action is I start spinning out like cleaning, or like my head's like, well, what can I do to make myself feel more comfortable? Well, is there something that I can eat? Is it close to my mealtime? And then my result is I never actually find peace. But if I have that thought in my head, it's okay to be uncomfortable, I feel peace. I love that. I love that. And so I do want to help you with your intentional thoughts so that they can be changed, because the thing is that the more negative thoughts we have in our lives, the more we're seeking pleasure instantly. And guys, I want to tell you, life is 50-50. It's 50% good, it's 50% bad. It's 50% positive, it's 50% negative. So your 50-50 can either be 50% good of just instant gratification, seeking those pleasures, and then the 50% bad is the guilt and the remorse that comes from that. Or your 50-50 can be the pleasure and joy of living the way that you want to live, and that pride, that good kind of pride, that like gratefulness to God, like, oh my gosh, I'm actually there. I'm actually doing what I want. And the 50% negative is just discomfort. It's being uncomfortable. It's trying new things that your brain won't like, but you can remind yourself, brain, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to be safe. Remember, you really want to be healthy. Remember, you really want to be authentic. And we're going to do this. And I'm going to take care of you, and it's going to be okay. Yeah. Does that make sense to you guys? Which 50-50 do you want? Do you want 50% instant gratification, 50% remorse? Or how about 50% being who you were created to be in total freedom, and 50% discomfort, learning new ways, struggling along? Which one? In your handouts, gang, I have a couple ways that you can create success spirals. So let's go ahead and create one right now. And if there's a specific example that you would like for me to do, just put it in the chat. So my question is there a desired result that you have? A desired result. Otherwise, we can use one of mine. I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds. Would somebody like to come on camera or just have their voice heard to get their specific one answered? Something that you're dealing with, a specific result that you want. I'm going to lead you through the process on how you can get that. Okay, I'm going to bring my friend Ingrid on camera here. Let's see, Ingrid. Okay.
Hello there.
Hey, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Oh, you're not on my AirPods, so I'm going to take them off. All right, girl, okay. What result would you like to have?
Well, I would like to have a solid business.
A solid business, and be specific.
And then, okay, so then what that would mean to me would be within the Juice Plus company, having 24 of my own customers direct to me and 3 team members. So I've been in this business 7 years and I've never brought a team member on. And last week, somebody has agreed to it. She accidentally signed up under a different rep. So we had a call this morning. We're getting it worked out.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily, what I love about this is it shows that it isn't necessarily a food issue, but it can lead to food issues. And it's a perfect example. So what you're saying is that the result that you want is, tell me a little bit more, because we can't, the result that we have cannot be based on someone else's choice.
Okay.
Right.
So, well, how about, okay, so how about if we want like a physical result for me, I would like to maintain a healthy body weight because I have an opposite problem that it's kind of like probably what hurts me in connecting with people because my metabolism is like extra. So I dip down under 100 pounds, and a lot of people don't relate to that. So for my result would be being able to relate weight loss with anybody or
Got
weight
it.
gain. You know what I'm saying? It's still maintaining a healthy weight.
And I'm okay doing that one, or we can still do the business one. We would just have to like refine it. So which one is most important to you?
The business.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the result. So having a team member or customers. The result, I'm guessing, is that you want to be making more offers to people. Okay.
Well, that would be something I would be doing in order to get to the result of, being a sales coordinator and having confidence in myself as a leader.
Okay. Let's just say that you are the result here, and we might be off mark and you and I can talk a little bit more, is making offers, because you can't have people say yes if you're not making offers. True?
True.
That's
True.
And if you guys don't know what Juice Plus is, it's a network marketing company. I'm also part of it, but that was not like why we're really having this call, but you guys can understand whatever your result is. Okay, so Ingrid, what are the things that you need to do or not do to make this happen?
So to do would be remain consistent and break things down into smaller, manageable pieces. Because I have a tendency to think, well, there's 1,000 people that I know, but unless I do like 2 or 3 times I'm going to reach out, breaking it down into smaller pieces. Because I'll be like, all right, I'm going to call 15 people on Friday. And I'm not going to do that ever because I haven't done it. I could do it.
I hear you need to like schedule small pieces. It's more of like a schedule.
It. Yes.
Okay. What else do you need to do or not do?
Well, I think I also need, so it's not just about like being with the Juice Plus company, because I'm also a certified health coach as of last year, but doing, thank you. You were a big inspiration in that decision as well. So thank you. Yes. We met last January, by the way. And yes, I followed you since religiously. I appreciate all you do, Denise.
Ditto.
But what another thing I need to do is develop my website, like finish it up.
So having a website will help you make offers?
Maybe not.
Or will it distract you?
Okay, it's distracting. That's why this
Okay.
coaching is very helpful. So scheduling the small pieces, getting my so I can't tell you how many countless times I've written down like 100 people's names and then I lose the list. So something I can do is digitize it, so that then I know I can go into my phone directly and make an update into with my information about that person. Like this person is interested as of January 15th, and then, I talk to this person however many times, I can look back into my records, so to say.
So I want to tell you that my business coach says, how can you talk to as many people as possible with the least amount of effort?
Okay. Social
So
media.
if digitizing is the easiest way for you, then go ahead. But if that's a step that just, leaves you in the spin of organizing and organizing and organizing and not getting to action,
Mhm.
it's like the person who just keeps making the meal plan over and over and over, but never actually purchases the food to make the healthy food. Like, right? So I think there is a piece,
100%. Yeah.
I think there is a piece of scheduling. And then there's also the piece of action. And the only action that counts, especially in building businesses in the beginning, is talking to people, like reaching out and talking to people.
Okay.
So I think that one of the not do's is complicate it.
Okay.
Do
I'm
not.
really good at that, though. I'm really good at that. That's one of my big skills in life.
Well, good for you. Welcome to the Human Brain Club. Your brain wants to complicate things and keep you spinning out.
Clearly.
There's a million do's and don't do's. And I know you can keep going with this. Okay. So you can keep going. But my question is, or we can coach more afterwards, is what would you need to feel to make this happen?
Okay. So the feel. So the feel is kind of fear of rejection that I'm feeling. But what I need to feel is basically like that I'm organized and there's a system and that I can see my progress. Because sometimes I feel like I'm working on something so much, but then there's like no completion to it.
So I hear confidence. You need to feel confident.
Yes.
And you'd need to feel confident. But I think when you said organized, I think that's one of those actions up here. That when you feel confident and you get organized and vice versa, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And remember this, everybody else who's looking at food, one of the reasons that we plan and we get organized is because we're creating and manifesting our future, right? We have to start thinking like the people we want to be. What would an organized business owner do? You go there.
Okay.
They have a system.
Yep.
They keep it simple. Hey, gang, when we're spinning out, whether it's on food or our families or our businesses, we are trying to run our lives. And the truth is that God runs our lives and he is a God of order and peace. Have you guys ever seen it's just like a tornado and God cannot speak to you in a tornado at all.
Mm-hmm.
The example I always like to give, and I know we're getting a little bit late on time, is if you've ever seen the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze, when Patrick Swayze jumps in Whoopi Goldberg's body and then she becomes him. It's crazy. And then she jumps out. And when I'm spinning, I imagine I'm in that tornado and I need to like jump out of it so that I can really let God talk to me.
Mm.
So Ingrid, does that seem like that fits for you? Feeling confident?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of almost like I just felt a puzzle piece clicking together here. When you're saying organized, I feel like there's a schedule to it. And this is also what works with my meal planning. If I'm not figuring it out ahead of time, then, I'm going to make something to eat and I forgot the onion. Now I have to walk over to the store, because I wasn't organized to begin with.
So for you to feel organized, what do you need to believe about yourself or what thought? What do you need to believe?
For me to feel organized?
Mm-hmm. No. For you to feel confident. Sorry.
Feel confident. Okay. For me to feel confident. I think it's a matter of me doing it a few times, and like riding a bicycle, you know, I know I'm going to fall down a few times.
I am becoming, how is something like, I am becoming an organized businesswoman?
Okay. I am becoming an organized businesswoman does have a little bit of a confidence level in it.
Well, I don't know. Does that fit for
It
you?
does.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I am becoming an organized businesswoman.
and you'll know if it fits when you say that statement. And do you feel confident when you say it?
Not really 100%. I was trying.
Oh, okay. Then if you don't believe it, then we need to come up with a transition statement.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, like, that's like affirmations. Affirmations don't work, huh? Because you know, in
Okay.
your body, you're like, yeah, that's horse crap. I don't believe that. So, let's see what could you say and what would you have to believe to feel confident?
I think it's a matter of doing it.
Okay. So, like, I'm committed to consistency.
I'm committed to consistency for sure.
Let's see, like, I'm willing to try.
Well, I feel that, okay,
I
here's
can do
something
that.
that kind of feels for me like I am a better teacher, or I'm better at learning when I'm teaching. You know, so I learn well when I'm teaching. Like I know these things are basics. Yeah,
How
but
about, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
for me to do it on my own, I won't. You know, I mean, I will not say I won't do it, but it always feels better when there's somebody else that's kind of looking up to me. And I think I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I had my children when I was young. And so I never transitioned into like just being an individual adult to make those choices for myself. It was always like I was the older sister looking out for everybody. Then I became the mom and I was always making all the decisions. And it wasn't even like I ever asked anybody, what do we do? It's just like I figured it out as I was going along and didn't really always have maybe that structure that says, all right, let's think about this in
That's
advance.
so interesting. You know, Ingrid, I'm wondering if there's that self-care piece of like, I'm worth doing this for. Like, this is a goal I have and it benefits nobody but me. I want this.
Yeah. That's kind of a big deal because now I'm 46 and I'm a grandma of 2, and it's like, all right, I guess I'm kind of more like the empty nester stage because I don't have anybody here to like be taken care of other than myself. You know.
But it's still worth doing.
Yeah, it is.
And
And
your whole life.
it's more worth doing it because then I'll be the example to my children and grandchildren. Instead of just being the one telling them what to do, you know.
When you say, I want this, I want this.
I want this.
Does that bring confidence?
I don't know. I guess not, because I'm not saying I feel that immediately.
Okay. We might not have the right thing here. So Ingrid, stay on, okay? We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we move on. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
And we will definitely move on. I think
thank you.
we need to get the feeling correct. And actually, it would probably be more beneficial for us to start in the fear part. Okay, because that's what we really have to look at is what's going on with the fear and really sit with that. You guys, sometimes those sabotage spirals with my clients, we have to look at the downward spiral first. And, we hate feeling crap, right? But sometimes we have to look at what are we really believing that we don't even know that we believe so that we can come over and then get to a success spiral. So, stay on and we'll do the opposite when we get done here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. let's see, allow to talk. Okay. Cool. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. So that's a lot of what we get to do is to dive into habits that we're doing. For me, big habits were standing and eating in the kitchen. eating while I was cleaning up dinner, eating a whole second meal while I was cleaning up dinner. You guys can throw some of the things that you do that are sabotaging you in the chat. I mean, can you relate? Like eating while I was cooking dinner, eating in the car, eating standing in my kitchen, eating standing, period. So I had to look at those things. And sometimes you don't even have to look at them. I just remember making new rules for myself so that I could increase my confidence. Like I only sit down and eat. I only eat seated on a plate. How about that? But those are the things that we get to do, because the next thing is one of my favorites, is planning with prayer. And gang, this is one of the bonuses of planning with prayer. You guys, prayerful planning is simple yet extremely powerful. And what's so awesome is that we get to use prayer to plan. Get to go in prayer and say to Jesus, what do you want for my food? And in the handouts, there is this. I love to call this is Jesus's plan for my food. Right? Not that you can't amend it, but it's going to be very clear what he wants. And it's very simple, this process. On the left side, you'll write the meal. And then you have two options. Two options. I'll say it louder for the people in the back. Only two options. So when I help people meal plan, this is what we do. So your meal can be, I don't know, I'm just going to say breakfast if you eat breakfast. And I'm not saying, like in the handout, there's six areas. I'm not saying a particular meal plan is best or better for you. We can always look at that individually, but I just wanted to give you guys some sections. Okay. So whether or not you eat one meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3, 4, 15, doesn't matter. But the point is that you're going to ask Jesus in prayer, hey, what do you want my food to look like? What would you like my breakfast to look like? What are two options that would be good there? How about a morning snack? What are two options for that? I'm not saying you need a snack, obviously. How about lunch? What would you like lunch to look like? Okay. Because once this is laid out, and this doesn't mean that's the only thing that you eat, but I think it's great to have a reference when you make your daily plan, because then your daily plan could just be like breakfast option A, snack option B, dinner option B. Okay. So that's one of the awesome ways to plan. It's super simple. I love it. The other thing that we plan for, and I think I'm running out of paper. I am running out of paper. And the other thing we plan for, gang, are challenging situations. One of the challenges in the sample in your packet is what am I going to do if I have a rough day? Right? Because having a rough day can send us back into that place of, I'm not going to make a healthy choice for myself. I'm seeking immediate gratification and it's going to take too much energy. So we have that plan. What is that plan after, if you're having a rough day? For me, that plan is making sure that I will give myself permission to not make dinner, to make some sort of silly dinner for the kids, or an easy dinner, or maybe it's the dinner I was going to make, but I let everybody go and we eat by the TV. I know that's like a number one rule, no rule, but for some people. But for me, if I don't have to wrangle everybody in to sit down at the same time, that is such a load off. And then I ask the kids to clean up dinner for me. And then I'll go take some quiet time for myself. So we have that plan so that you don't succumb to being part of that brain triage, that place where that wins out, that leads me into that sabotage cycle. I don't want that. And I don't want that for you guys either. That is the plan. You guys, you know that you are called. Do you believe that you are called? Do you believe that you are called to this? Yes. Yes. That you believe that you are called. A well-paying practice. Yeah. You believe that you are called. You know how to now look at your brain. You know how to make those plans. And then you become empowered every single day. Yes. Yes. You guys, I want to share with you a little story about Easter. Talk about pictures a little bit. This is an Easter picture from the year before I actually stopped binge eating. Okay, so this was the year before. And you guys have these pictures. I know you do. You can remember why you wore that shirt. You can remember why you wore those pants. It was a baggy shirt. It was loose. You can remember what you ate the night before. I made a lamb cake the night before. I had so much icing. I was sick the next day. You have those pictures. There's a couple other ones in my family's life, different birthday parties for my kids where I can remember overeating at those parties, baptisms, Christmas parties. It is so amazing to be able to look at pictures now and to be able to trust myself around food. You guys, that was Easter. And you know, Easter is like one of the holiest holidays, at least in my faith. Easter's coming, and I know you want Easter and really every day after that to be able to trust yourself around food, to look at pictures and remember the memories, not why you ate what you ate and wore what you wore and how it was really hard to fit into those pants. So you had to wear the stretchy ones or you had to go buy new clothes because they didn't fit. I don't want you to deal with that when you look at pictures anymore. No more regret, no more remorse. And you guys can totally do this. You have everything. I gave you everything that you need. You have the materials. You can do all of this. I absolutely know you can. You have everything that you need inside you now. But I want to help you get there faster. And if you want to get there faster, I can help you with that. And here's how. It takes time to get the system and support in your life. And I have an 8-week program that starts February 12th and runs 8 weeks so that by the time Easter comes, I'm calling it End Emotional Eating by Easter, so that you have a group and a system to get that support. We meet weekly and it's for 8 weeks. We kick off with that 12 with a 90 with a 12. On February 12th, we kick off with a 90-minute detox from binge eating boot camp. But hang on, it gets better than that. And we end the week before Easter. So it is 8 weeks. And for that, it's $4.99. But listen, because you guys are on here tonight, if you decide in the next 48 hours to come and change your life and commit to yourself and make sure that you get there and have Easter and every other day after Easter to where you look at pictures and you can look at pictures and remember the memories, and you can trust yourself around food, and that you have that pride and you're free of guilt, you're free of remorse. I'm going to give you the bonus. You get the powerful planning, the powerful prayer plan kit. And in that kit, it helps you meal plan. You have your daily sheets. And those daily sheets not only give you a log, but a plan and a daily focus. You get all of the weekly sheets. So you can evaluate the week. And you can also plan for the week. What went well, what didn't. Journal prompts for that. You get what I call the In Toolkit. And that In Toolkit is something that you use at every meal to tune into your body's sensations, your sensations of hunger, your sensations of of energy. Where's your energy level? I find that I really reach for food when I am very fatigued. Now, okay, so there's that, but here's the really exciting part. Because it doesn't start until February 12th, I want to give you one coaching session so that we can go ahead and get you started a little bit before that. And that's $125 value. And this is the best, I really believe, starting as soon as you commit, you're going to have unlimited Voxer contact with me, a coach in your pocket. A coach in your pocket, 24-hour access. And if you don't know what Voxer is, it's a free app where you can walkie-talkie or you can text from me now until Easter. That's 3 months of a coach in your pocket. You get all of these bonuses. And now this is the really exciting part, especially if you love other people. Okay, so in the next 24 hours, I'm also going to give you a second registration for 50% off. So you can come and a friend for under $375 for 8 weeks. So your friend will still get the prayerful planning toolkit with the meal plan, the daily sheets, and the weekly sheets. There's absolutely no way that you can get off when you're continually looking at yourself, inviting God into the process. The tune-in toolkit, your friend will get that as well, so that every meal she can see what's going on in her body. And if she decides to come to the webinar as well, I'm also going to give her the coaching, because I've got webinars every single week between now and when we start. I'm also going to give her a free coaching session and give her unlimited Voxer access to me. Guys, the program doesn't even start until February 12th. We get to start right away on Voxer. But because you two are joining together, I think it's super fun to be with friends. I'm going to give you guys an additional group coaching session between the two of you between now and in February. So over the next month, you can have a coaching session. You can get all of these tools to get started. You can bring your friend in. She can get hers, and you can have that group coaching session. But this is literally in the next 24 hours. So that is by next Tuesday. You know, guys, here's the coolest thing is this Voxer access alone, to have any questions answered at any moment, is such a peace of mind. And I know that because my husband recently had COVID, and his doctor, his second doctor, was a friend of mine that I texted at many different times of the day. And it was such a peace of mind having her just text me back or even call me because I was so worried about him. Imagine that for you. Imagine being able to get your questions answered, to get your spirals worked through. Imagine all of that in your pocket. So why would you even want to take one more step forward? Listen, I know you can do this. I know that you can do this on your own. Why would you even need me? Because I make it happen faster. I'll show you how amazing you are, when you're feeling down on yourself, when you aren't believing it. When you get off the phone with me, you will have confidence and motivation that won't sizzle at all. It'll keep you going. You guys, I had help available at every moment, and that's what I want for you. Your life is unique. You have different situations. I want to help you with your specific challenges, help you plan the weeks, the weekend parties, the dinners out with people you might not care to be with, the stress at work, the kids, when you have a fight with your sister or your husband. When you call, you are going to be so secure in what you're doing. You're going to have so many solutions that you'll just automatically start to put in place. You'll effortlessly stop eating when you're full. You'll trust yourself around food again. I had to learn to live differently. I realized food wasn't my problem. It was my solution. And it didn't solve any problems. It just gave me more problems, right? You guys can all relate. With one decision will change everything. Are you guys done living in that spiral of sabotage? Do you want to live differently? Listen, if you don't want to wait until February 12th and you say, Denise, no, I don't know. Let's talk tomorrow. I think I want to do this one-on-one. No problem. Book a consult, or you can do the 8-week group, whatever works for you. But here's what I need you to do in the chat. Simply put your email address or put contact me or put yes, send me the info. And what I will do is I will send you a link so that you can get signed up for the 8 weeks. I will also send you a sheet with the details so you can tell your friend about this and she can get signed up for the webinar so she can also get her coaching sessions, her voucher, and the two of you can have a group coaching session. That is how it goes. Now, remember, this half off registration is good until Tuesday, January 11th at, let's say, 8 p.m. Central, which would be 1 hour from now. 1 hour from now. Okay. You can give that to a friend. It'll be under $375 for 8 weeks. 8 weeks, the two of you. I am done. You guys don't have to live this way anymore. It only gets better. So I'm going to be turning the recording on. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. I'll turn the recording off, but everybody stay on and I can still coach you. Take care.